this is Michael McDermott. I want to welcome you tonight to our regular Thursday night get-together every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on my website, keepingitreal.michaelmcdermott.com. And I'd like to say thank you for joining us tonight for the second week. And call a friend and invite somebody to share in the program tonight. I'd like to thank you again for taking this time, this opportunity. Tonight I'm going to be sharing on a subject that I think a lot of people deal with, and the subject is going to be called Making Bitter Better. And I'd like to share just a few things as we get into this. We'll be taking time for a prayer request that was sent in and also a question a little later on in the program. Making bitter better. All of us have faced adverse circumstances and situations that have caused us potentially to allow bitterness to creep in. Now, bitterness is something way less than desirable because bitterness will affect every aspect of your life if allowed to grow, and if you nurture it and nourish it and hide it and protect it, it will grow and potentially come out in other areas, in other relationships, and affect those around us. I like the verse in Hebrews 12:15 that says, "See to it that no one comes short of the grace of God, that no root of bitterness springing up causes trouble, and by it many would be defiled." So many times, and maybe you can identify with this, that there is anger, resentment, slash bitterness in your life and in the lives of other family members, and you just can't really put a finger on why that is there. Well, this verse in Hebrews says that if bitterness is allowed to go unchecked in your life, that it will eventually grow and flourish and creep out into the lives of those around you. Look around you now. If you have your family, your children, your grandchildren, husband, wife, whatever the situation was, mother, father, grandparents, those people around you potentially could be affected by a small, tiny root of bitterness that you allow to go and grow in your own life. It's so important that we first learn to identify problem areas and clearly define those problem areas. And by identifying, we need to admit verbally and admit to God, admit in your heart and in your mind that there are problem areas, that there are roots and areas of bitterness that potentially could grow and flourish and spread into the lives of others. So identify those, clearly define the cause of those and what those are, admit that there are situations, and then have God create with you a plan to eliminate those roots of bitterness from your life. It's so important. And then secondly, don't dwell, don't focus on the things that nurtured that bitterness or initially created that bitterness. Don't allow those things to come into your life. And again, Hebrews 12:15, it says, "See to it that no one allows a small root of bitterness to come into your life, because by that many could and would be defiled." Now, how to identify in yourself that you're bitter? If you use phrases like, "I'm not bitter," or if you say things like, "I'll never go there again," if you close your mind and your heart to allowing love and trust towards people again, you might be bitter. If trusting is hard for you to do, or if your personality has become sharp or abrasive, and you respond to people sharply, and even to the point of in anger and rude, you might have a root of bitterness in your life. And if not checked, bitterness will turn into selfishness. If you can't get along with people, and you have every excuse in the book why that you don't get along with people, and you avoid relationships and you avoid contact with people, there's a possibility that you might be bitter. I like this little illustration that my mom uses often. She talks about the rear view mirror in the car, which is way smaller than the windshield, purposely designed that way because we're supposed to take a lot less time looking back than looking forward. Once you identify and define the cause of your bitterness, and then you make a plan and create a plan to forgive and forget and deal with those things, then move on beyond that and only revisit those negative experiences, those negative times for the purpose of learning and recalling the lessons that you learned while you were there. You know, bitterness starts out subtly. It kind of creeps in, it kind of sneaks in. And if not taken care of and addressed, it grows and it flourishes and it starts affecting those around us. And what happens when issues of trust and abuse and neglect come into our relationships and in our lives? What happens is we throw up walls. We build walls. We throw up these walls for our immediate protection and security. And I think that we've all done that, and I think that's probably somewhat of a normal process to protect or defend yourself when being attacked or abused, or when someone is coming at you or people are coming at you. You throw up these walls to protect yourself. Well, it's okay as long as those walls don't become your permanent place of residence. I like to use this illustration talking about a bridge that was built in front of my house that I lived at. And one thing I noticed I watched the whole construction process from beginning to end, not every day, but the phases that I saw. One thing I noticed that in the beginning phases, when they threw up the barricades and the barriers, which directed traffic around the work area, it was a short amount of time. But the actual work that took place on the bridge took quite a while. Now, the concept or the point here is that it's real easy to throw up barriers and barricades to redirect traffic and to keep people from your heart.